right, we are live. We had some
Woo!
technical difficulties, but we are set to go. Hello, everyone who is watching right now. My name is Tali, and this is my podcast, Tali-PHD. The PhD stands for Proper Human Diet, and that is what we in the carnivore community refer to the way of eating that we are following. Just a disclaimer before I continue, I do need to say that the information that I'm sharing today and that my guest Suzi will be sharing today is not meant for a diagnosis or is not meant for treatment. We are not doctors, and therefore this information is for educational purposes only. Nothing that we say is FDA approved. Just wanted to add that too. So I am a former pharmaceutical sales representative for one of the largest pharmaceutical companies. I'm no longer in pharmaceutical sales. Because of my own health and healing journey, I've been for a very long time seeking answers and have leaned into natural modalities for health and wellness. I am a survivor of breast implant illness and mold toxicity. I had mold in my implants. And as part of my healing, I have gone from being vegan to vegetarian to an omnivore. I've studied herbalism. I've gone all organic. I've gone gluten-free. And here I am now, carnivore. And by carnivore, what I mean is that predominantly my diet is all it's meat-based, animal-based foods. So eating all different types of meat. I also include dairy. Some carnivores do not, but we do not eat anything from the plant community. So no vegetables, no fruits, and there is a reason why. Many of us are not able to tolerate the vegetables and the anti-nutrients in vegetables that are wreaking havoc on our immune systems and our gut. And we found that when we remove these vegetables from our diet, we actually feel better. And it is the carnivore lifestyle that has set me free. I am symptom free as far as any digestive issues. And I am here today with Suzi, who's a guest, a fellow carnivore. And we're going to be talking today about healing and her healing journey. I am currently a doctoral student studying functional blood chemistry and functional nutrition. So this is all part of my journey in educating others. And today, Suzi's with me today to talk about the carnivore lifestyle and the healing that she has done. And she also was faced with mold toxicity. So let me introduce Suzi. Suzi is a resilient widow, and she has two incredible sons. She is rediscovering her life through healing and strength. The carnivore diet became her happy pill, as she describes it. It's been helping her to stay alive, both mentally and physically, and it's transformed her health and renewed her spirit. She has realized that this has empowered her to love life again. Talk about powerful words there. So welcome, Suzi. Thanks so much for being here and for talking to us about your healing journey through the carnivore diet.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so excited.
So it's wonderful that we've been able to connect, and I've connected with some incredible carnivores through this journey, or through finding people to come on and share their experience. If you could just share with us, at the beginning when you started to feel ill, what were some symptoms that you experienced? Because you were dealing with mold toxicity, right?
Well, years ago, I didn't know what it was. I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking it was very poor nutrition, and it was mold.
Mm.
I was bedbound or partially bedbound for 10 to 15 years. I had two kids who both had medical needs. And at first, when I found carnivore, I was blaming it on nutrition because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Weston Price Foundation, and you go down that rabbit hole and you're like, man, we should be eating way better than what we're doing. But now that I was carnivore for a hot minute, my coach said, if you're not better, you probably have toxins, most likely mold, in your home. And that was like a year into carnivore. And so lo and behold, I have mold. I'm on my second renovation, and it's not easy. But the symptoms of mold is a lot of nerve issues,
Okay.
skin issues, neurological issues, fatigue, and you keep trying these biohacks. I don't drink coffee, so I do my cold shower. To get that adrenaline going, and so I'm happy and energetic. And then the latest thing is HFOT, is the hyperbaric chamber that I'm doing. So
Yeah.
with that.
So, just take me back a little bit. You said that a doctor actually said to you, you might be exposed to toxins. Was this like a conventional doctor that actually brought this to
No,
you?
it wasn't a doctor. It was my coach.
Okay, it was a health coach.
Yeah, it was Nutrition with Judy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
fabulous. Well, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you had gone into the conventional medicine and you had these symptoms where you're saying, I have neurological issues, or I've got eczema, or, I've got these rashes, or whatever the case might be, what do you think that a conventional doctor may have said to you when you presented with those symptoms?
I know what they said. I went to the ER, I can't tell you how many times, probably 10 to 15 times, and they kept telling me it's anxiety.
Unbelievable. Like it's all in your head?
All in my head. And eventually I saw a neurologist, and they did find a very large pituitary tumor, and they blamed all of my symptoms on that. Although I can't remember.
But they didn't say like what caused the pituitary tumor.
No. So it's just, but when you find you have a pituitary tumor, you research it and whatnot. And I think it's like 30% of people die with them in their head. Don't know why we grow them, why it gets too big. Mine was so big, they had to do surgery. And the first surgery, it was so big, it was going to affect my eyesight. So we opted for surgery. And the first surgery, they didn't get everything. And that was in 2013. And then in 2018, they did another surgery called Gamma Knife, which is a whole bunch of, you know what it is. It's a whole bunch of radiation in your brain. So not only the mold, I got the radiation, and then and you're going to be able to say it better than me. It's the contrast dye that they use.
Oh yeah, the gadolinium, which is very toxic.
Yeah, so I've got the black mold in my body, and then the radiation, and then to boot, and I hate to boot, I had a concussion in 2019 that landed me in the hospital for 5 days. So I think the mold really played a huge part in my stability and my being able to live. And I couldn't function. And going carnivore it emptied my cup, per se, of all my toxins. Instead of my toxins being way up here, it's down here. And I get to live, which is great.
So tell me a little bit more about that. What you started carnivore at what point in this health crisis? Okay,
so 2020 happened. And then in 2022, I was still going down the rabbit hole of everything. And I for some reason, a carnivore YouTube video and decided to try it. Mm-hmm. And, I remember my kids saying, "What are you doing? Why would you do this?" I'm like, "I've tried everything else. I mean, minus the cabbage diet. Like you. I mean, when Whole Foods opened, I spent $400 back then on all those veggies and fruits.
Mostly vegetables, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, trying to get healthy, thinking that was it. And then plus we had the one child with a whole bunch of medical needs, and he also had severe ADHD, and another kid with autism. And I knew diet was it. I knew it in my gut. Diet was it. I just didn't know it was meat.
Right,
Yeah,
right. We're taught, and it's kind of pressed on us through a variety of different avenues, that eat your vegetables,
right.
that healing, health, vitality, everything, reducing toxins, helping with detoxifying the body. We think of juicing, we think of all these things.
Oh, yeah.
Eat your fruits and vegetables, and yet, I know in my circumstance, it seemed like the more vegetables that I ate and the more I consumed, the more that I had all these gut issues and inflammation. Did you find that to be the case as well? That the vegetables were kind
Yes.
of working against you?
As soon as I gave up plants and veggies, I didn't know your stomach's not supposed to be hard as a rock. I didn't
Right.
know you're not supposed to be in pain. So, yeah, I mean, my stomach is soft.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah, I wanted to touch on all the juicing and whatnot. Did you do the medical medium?
Yeah. So with the celery,
Oh my
tons
God,
of
and the juicing.
celery,
Oh, it's terrible.
and juicing beets and all the things, all organic, following all the rules, doing everything that I totally thought would be healing my body, and yet I couldn't understand why my stomach was hurting all the time. And that was the one thing. I healed a lot of other things, taken, from breast implant illness, over 50 symptoms, down to really just dealing with this digestive
Mhm.
the digestive issues. And just like you, I thought that walking around with a big bloated stomach that hurt all the time and being gassy, I just thought that was part of the human experience.
Right, right.
until carnivore, and then found out, oh my gosh, why doesn't my stomach hurt anymore? So when you started carnivore, how soon into carnivore did you notice that your gut issues had gone away?
3 days. 3 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. 3 days.
3 days?
3 days. It was amazing. It was like the veil had lifted and everything was perfect and everything was wonderful. It not only did it help my stomach, it helped my mental health incredibly. I had started July of 2022 carnivore, and the love between my husband and I just skyrocketed. And before that,
Wow.
before that, he was a mechanical engineer. So
Mhm.
I kept thinking it was him that was closed off. And I mean, I even said we need to do shrooms because obviously we need to do something here. But when I went carnivore, I said to him, "Do you feel this?" And he said, "It's always been here." So it was me on all.
Wow.
I mean, I was on Xanax. I had trigeminal neuralgia, which is we have 5 branches through our neck, and then it's shocking pain through your face. It's called the suicide disease.
Mm.
Yeah. So all that went away. I was on Xanax and Percocet, and I mean, I was on pot. I was on everything trying to control the pain, which when you're on all that stuff, that also puts you in bed. So I got to get off all my meds. I'm not on any supplements other than oil of oregano on my feet to help with the mold in my body.
Okay.
And yeah, and it was we were like kids again. It was just amazing. Yeah.
So likely, going on carnivore diet, detoxifying your body just through the food, because you're getting the nutrients
Right.
that you need, and then you're not eating these plants that were affecting your gut. So
Right.
all these things are happening at once. Then it probably is also balancing your hormones and kind of giving
Right.
you your mojo back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I like sex. What's that?
Yeah, well, when you're not feeling well, Susie, that kind of is, something that goes by the wayside. But that is phenomenal that
Yeah.
came back, because it's like you're born again, like you get a second chance of life. So you mentioned oil of oregano, which that is a plant.
I know. And I'm okay. So, and just recently I had hired Dr. Sophia Clemens out of the Hungary clinic called the PKD diet, because I still believe in food so much. Even though I am dealing with mold in my house, I thought, all right, I'm going to up the ante on my food. I'm going to do what I need to do. And she got me off coffee, all supplements, and everything else. And I don't know if you are aware of the diet, but you're supposed to have 400 grams of liver a week, 200 grams of bone marrow. And within 4 days, my stomach was even better.
Wow.
It was. So I know that we, we're here to evolve. So our body wants to heal. And when we have these toxins in our body, it's just working overtime and it doesn't know what to do. And that's why I was reaching out to different things that are natural. And I know you talk about oil oregano, but they keep telling me to take this stuff and I don't want to ingest anything to hurt my gut. My gut is sealed.
Yes. Yeah. You sealed the gut juncture. The leaky gut is gone.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying it in a negative way, because I still lean into some herbs, and
Right.
I haven't given up faith that there are medicinal properties in some of the herbs that are out there. But as far as consuming the enormous amount of plants that are pushed on us, and we have these big salads. Remember, like in Seinfeld, I'll just have a big salad is kind of the coined term of the 80s from Elaine. And when we eat that way, just so many vegetables, at least I can just say, I mean, maybe not all of us, but some of us really have an issue, especially those of us, I think, who have been exposed to mold, because I found Carnivore through Dr. Jordan Peterson speaking on a podcast. And he was saying that he had mold toxicity, and that it was his daughter that kind of had led him, who had been a carnivore for her health issues for a long time, and kind of led him on this path. And he's been eating just, the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, I think, for a really long time now, and having great success, and has totally recovered from all of his health issues. But I listened to that podcast, and, it was like, poosh, this was just unbelievable. And it was just, give it the 30-day challenge.
Right.
And it was just kind of this, okay, I can do this for 30 days, because you hit a point where you're like, I am so sick, I will do anything. And when you hit that point and you say, 30 days, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. So you're willing to give it a shot.
When you taste how good you're supposed to feel,
right.
And then and let me back up. So 2022 was when I went carnivore, and then my husband passed in November of 2022. And then I got my bathroom remodeled, and that's when I was exposed to even more mold. So it was already coming out of the ductwork, but the person who did the remodel didn't seal off anything, doesn't know anything about mold, not his fault. And but it went all over the house. And that's when my eye floaters, the ear ringing, more fatigue started, and everything else. And
So, in something that Jordan Peterson had said in that original podcast that I saw, was that over 80% of buildings in America have been exposed to mold. And so it's likely that many people, who will view this video are going to be like, am I possibly being exposed to mold? So how did you find out that your house did have mold in it?
Well, I started researching to find out what test to do. And of course you could go get the test from Home Depot, just the Petri dish. And I don't know if I steered somebody wrong yesterday, but she asked, and she doesn't have a lot of money, and that's what I would do if that's all I could do, is the Petri dish.
And then what is that? Tell us a little bit about that Petri dish, or how that works.
It'll grow mold in your home. It's just a science experiment. You put it out and it's supposed to grow mold. So,
and yours grew mold, I'm guessing.
I did not do that.
You didn't?
I just heard about that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the air test that you can do. And so they sample air outside to compare to the air inside. And I did that second. The first thing I did was the ERMI and the Hertzme test. And those came back just sky high. And that's when I found out that it was in my HVAC system. and I needed to replace the ductwork. And it's terrible. The companies out there who take advantage of you and just do whatever they want to do. They said they're replacing all the flex duct and 4 other lines of something, but they didn't replace the boots. And the IEP that I hired that came out said there's 2 to 4 square feet of mold in every boot except for my son's room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
So
he was saved from exposure, at least in his room. But
yeah.
So do you know how long that the mold had been there, and if it had possibly impacted the rest of your family?
I don't know. I think it contributed to a lot of people's health problems. We've lived here for 15, 16 years, and we had 2 dogs die young. They both made it in the house 4 years.
Wow.
And then my husband died young. He was 54.
Wow.
And every time I tell the story, people are like, get out of the house, get out of the house, get out of the house. Like you just said, and I heard 70% to 80% of all buildings, including homes, where are you going to go? You know?
Right.
So
and not everybody, not everybody's going to be impacted. You could live in mold. Some people, it doesn't affect them the way that it affects other people. It's just kind of individual based on kind of your genetic makeup, things like MTHFR, it's kind of a predisposition. So I think it's like 1 in 4 people would be severely impacted by mold, and other people, the thing is, though, that the longer the exposure, the greater the chances that even a healthy person is going to eventually, suffer from mold toxicity.
Well, I'm really glad that mold is being talked about so much, because we didn't think it was a big deal forever. I mean, when I was a baby living in Italy, my parents said they used to wipe the mold off the walls. Yeah. Wow. And then when we lived on Treasure Island in San Francisco, my sister got really sick. She doesn't believe, I don't think she believes it's from the mold. And then she ended up getting Crohn's in the next place we were living. And my kidneys started bothering me. I had bladder issues. I had severe skin issues on TI. So, and then when we were pregnant in another house, and my husband being a mechanical engineer, I listened to him. Whatever he said was gold when it came to HVAC. Right over my head when I was sleeping, pregnant with both boys, there was a black spot.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And so my oldest was born with bilateral choanal atresia. And that's when on the outside of your face looks perfect. On the inside, your nose has not burst. So his sinuses were completely messed up. And I, again, blame that on my diet and blame that on mold.
Mold, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, and then this house. So it's just, it's everywhere.
It is. And, I think the best way to protect yourself would be, one, of course, test your house and see if you are being exposed to mold, because like you mentioned, autoimmune diseases could be possibly connected, just various strange illnesses, cancer, just weird symptoms from skin issues to joint pain to muscle aches to chronic fatigue. And when we go, many people will rely on the conventional medical system. They're not necessarily going to go to a health coach, which probably a health coach would be the best person to go to in a circumstance where you have these mystery symptoms and are trying to get to the root cause. But in conventional medicine, they're likely just going to treat the symptoms. So, you're just going to get a handful of pharmaceuticals, but it's never going to get to what is causing this.
Right. I tried all of the depression meds, tried all of the anxiety meds, and Xanax worked, but who wants to be on that the rest of their life?
Right. It's just a Band-Aid dealing with the symptoms, but it's really not addressing the root cause. And mold is totally connected to mental health issues. That could be totally what the problem is. And then, of course, there's the gut. When you have gut issues and inflammation, then, of course, that's going to also impact your brain as well. So, you went carnivore and solved them. I'm guessing you're not living in mold now, as far as you know.
No, I know I am.
Oh, you still are being exposed to mold.
Because the company that didn't do a good job, I've recently got the ductwork replaced again and had all the boots replaced. And now my biggest concern is the HVAC. And the mold was just treated yesterday again. So I'm getting there. I put a dehumidifier in the house because I know I told you I'd love to live in Colorado, but I decided to make my house like Colorado.
Right. Trying to get all the moisture out of there.
Yeah. So, and it's, when I first got that dehumidifier, I had to empty it every 12 hours and it was a big container of water. So, my humidity levels are way too high. I don't know what the answer is. Do you live with a crawl? Do you not live with a crawl? Because you hear both sides of everything,
Yeah. And they, experts say step number one is you remove yourself from the mold. That the true only way to heal would be to remove yourself from the mold, and then also getting out in nature, just trying to get out, breathe fresh air. Indoor air is just very toxic. There's a lot of things like even our floors and our carpets and things off gas. Lots of chemicals, which are only going to make things worse. So just getting outside, spending time outside. I mean, I've heard of people who have literally lived in tents outside of their own homes or just out in the desert somewhere with a sleeping bag for months and months in order to heal from mold. And
I started car camping.
Car camping, there you go.
I did my car with an Army or Hertz Me, I can't remember which one, and it came back fine. And I cleaned it thoroughly and then went car camping and loved it. I drove to Maine and it was amazing. So you do what you have to do. Yeah.
I think we talk so much about what we eat, in the carnivore community, but I think that the healing and when I talk to other carnivores, we all say, it's not just the carnivore diet. There's a whole other lifestyle that comes with this, and it is about connecting with nature, doing all these other natural things in order to heal. So just share with us a little bit about how carnivore has changed your life. Just give us some more information about what you eat on a daily basis and then how you feel today.
Well, today is not a normal day because I actually ran out of ribeye. So today I had liver and bone marrow. So my meat is coming tomorrow.
Yay.
Yay. I found out that I have huge histamine issues. So the local butcher that I was eating at, I can't eat there anymore. Although I can buy bone marrow from him. Every time, it's funny, your source is so important.
Yes.
Every time I ate liver from there, I would get extreme pain from my ankle to my hip. And
this is probably because of what that animal was eating?
Probably. They were supposed to be grass-fed, grass-finished. But it also could have been because the longer the meat stays out in the open, the more histamines it gathers and the more problems that you have eating it. So, my life is a night and day, to answer your question. I mean, being bedbound to being able to go out and ride your bike, play pickleball, golf I'm picking up. I mean, just all of the things. I went skydiving. So it's just, it's amazing. And I want to travel all over the place. I want to do everything. I mean, I told my husband before he died, I was like, can you imagine the people in the 20s and they're like, you can go anywhere you want to go and you're not going? What are you doing? So anyway.
So you have renewed life and renewed energy as a result of dealing with the mold toxicity and being on the proper human diet.
Yeah.
It's such a tragedy that your husband passed away so young,
Mhm.
and perhaps, you know, if it were mold, or if it were, if there were a way just to kind of find out what could have been behind it, and address it then,
Right, right.
I'm so sorry for your loss and having to go through that, and
Yeah.
having to go through that so young. But as you're stepping into this new life, so how long have you been carnivore now?
2+ years.
Two
It,
plus years.
yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, well, how do you have energy because you're not eating carbohydrates? What have you found as far as being on this diet and having sustained energy through the day?
You run on ketones, which is wonderful. And I found for me that I know that I'm going to say one of the standard terms, but I have to still have a balanced diet, meaning my fat and protein has to be balanced. If I have too much protein, my glucose spikes. If I have too much fat, my ketones spike. They have to stay in a certain range for me to be alive and healthy and energetic.
And what for you is that range of fat ratio to protein?
Well, I go by my Keto Mojo, which measures my glucose and my
Okay.
ketones. And my ketones are supposed to be between 2 and 3. And
Okay.
this is according to the PKD diet. And my, and this is specifically for me. So,
Right.
and my glucose is between 70 and 80. So, and I'm still trying to figure out, am I really hungry, or am I thirsty? Am I bored? Am I tired? So then I can go to the Mojo and test my sugar. And if it's low, which it has been, then I know, yeah, you're really hungry. So
So
it's
you're really being scientific about it and testing
right.
in order to know what to eat. I'm doing things a little differently, in following Dr. Elizabeth Bright's
Yeah,
ratio of 80% fat to 20% protein,
right.
because I just know, and I know it was, partially due to being exposed to mold with the breast implants, but just a lot of trauma throughout the years that I'm still dealing with adrenal
Uh-huh.
issues. And our adrenal glands are just maxed, especially during menopause, as we get to that point in life that our adrenal glands switch over to making our sex hormones, which many people don't know. They think that at menopause, boom, everything's done and you just don't make those hormones, and then you just need to go to the doctor to get on exogenous hormones. And that's not the case. You don't need that,
Right.
because if your adrenals work properly, then your adrenals will just start making these hormones and you're going to be fine. And all these symptoms that we know of as menopause are actually issues with our adrenal glands. So if we can get those right, and the way to fix them is upping our fat. So are you one of these people? And I know I am. I'm guilty of it. Not guilty, but I think it's fantastic. I do eat butter. Are you finding yourself, like, in between meals, are you adding butter onto things just to increase your fat intake?
No, I've switched totally over to tallow and bone marrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was doing a lot of butter. Yeah, I mean, right after he died, it was like a stick to 2 sticks of butter. I mean, and helped me stay alive. And to 1 patty hamburger. So I wasn't hungry. It's the first time
Right.
I wasn't. But eating that much butter, no wonder I wasn't hungry. Um, so yeah, but now I love bone marrow. It is so good. So yeah. And
How are you eating that? How are you making that and eating
yeah,
it?
I take it straight from the freezer and I put it in the oven about 450 for 20-25 minutes. And it's just amazing. It's just so,
Really?
yeah.
So I haven't gotten into the organ meats yet, so I'm supplementing with organ meats, because that's just I'm just not a liver eater or heart eater. I can't get myself to that point.
Right.
I've heard that you eventually develop, your palate changes, and you develop a love for it. So I do have a local butcher, Ranch Foods Direct here, that I go to. Fantastic meat, and they do sell bone marrow. So that might be my first dipping my toes into, the organ meats or the bones and getting into that. So if somebody were starting the carnivore lifestyle, what advice would you give to them for starting off?
For me, I found jumping right in
Okay.
because I had tried keto before and the cravings were still there. So this time, just going straight in, and I mean, like Kelly Hogan says, have your hamburger cookies ready all the time. So when you're hungry, you eat. And I jumped in, and like I said, within 3 days, it was just like a veil had lifted. I would do your eggs. I would do all your dairy. If you still are drinking coffee, do your heavy whipping cream. You do anything you can to transition over and make it easy on yourself. If you're hungry or if you're craving something, eat more fat or have your hamburger patties. So yeah, you don't have to go as extreme as I've gone. Yeah, especially if you're not exposed to mold and if you can detox it.
Yeah, and 3 days. I mean, 3 days. It's just 3 days before you feel better. So in 3 days, tell us, like, what did you notice? What improvements happened at 3 days for you?
Oh, energy levels were up. My stomach wasn't hurting anymore. My mental health was so much better. And my husband would look at me because I was like giddy again, just like I was a teenager, and he didn't understand what was going on. And I was just happy. Yeah. So it was just amazing. Yeah.
That is so incredible that it happened for you in 3 days.
Yeah.
It
took a long time to lose the weight. So 55 pounds, it took forever to lose that.
Wow, 55 pounds.
Yeah, you know how they tell you that you're supposed to lose like 8 pounds a month? That's exactly what it was for me. It was 8 pounds a month.
Interesting. And the thing about the carnivore diet is it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, and it's not intended at all for weight loss.
No.
So, if somebody doesn't need to lose weight, they can go on the carnivore lifestyle. And actually, if you are underweight, you'll probably gain weight on the carnivore lifestyle. But if you have to lose because of health issues, it's going to make you lose weight. So it balances you by nature, because this is the proper human diet. So no matter where you are, because it's addressing health issues,
right,
then it's going to take you where you need to go. But in your case, you said you lost over 50 pounds. So that's tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah. I think our body knows exactly what it needs to do. And just like you said, if you're underweight, because I mean, there's this famous guy in the Carnivore World Tribe or World Carnivore Tribe, who had Crohn's, and the picture of him as a vegan versus as a carnivore was just amazing, the difference.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I have a picture of me with vegan and carnivore that I put up, and to me it's a drastic. I see a complete difference.
Yeah.
But I would love to see.
I'll find it and send it to you. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to see that. I'd love to post that. Just again, this is just educational. Anyone who's watching this and curious about this, I heard about the carnivore lifestyle about 5 years ago, and it was a guy that I met at a party, and I saw him. He brought his own food with him, and he was just eating meat. And at the time, I was mostly vegan. And I just looked at him like I thought he was absolutely crazy. But at the same time, I noticed that he was very fit and looked healthy, but still, like, I couldn't connect the dots. And something that I tell everybody is, I haven't seen an unhealthy looking carnivore yet. I'm still looking for an unhealthy looking carnivore.
Right.
So, and by carnivore, I mean like they follow the carnivore lifestyle, not they happen to eat meat on a cheeseburger, bread with potatoes or vegetables and everything on the side. I'm talking about somebody who follows this lifestyle. Have you noticed this?
I have not. No, I have not seen one. And I mean, and I'll ask people, like, if they have on a cute shirt or whatever. Like yesterday, somebody from a restaurant had Made by Bacon, Body Made by Bacon. And I was like, I would buy that shirt. Are you carnivore? And they're like, no. And she knew what I meant, which was amazing because most of the time you'll ask somebody if they're carnivore and they'll think, oh yeah, I eat meat, I'm carnivore. So, but it's getting
Right.
more and more out there. Yeah.
It is. And I have a shirt that says, 0% vegan that I wear to the gym. And I've had people just kind of give me the thumbs up across a room or come over
Yeah.
to me and say, hey, are you carnivore? And it just opens up a great discussion. So I have various carnivore shirts to
Yeah,
just
me
try
too.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a
Powered
great
by
way to
meat.
find our tribe.
Yeah.
Powered by meat. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
people kind of doubt this and think, well, we're not eating the rainbow, or we're not eating, all these, a variety, a balanced diet, as you said earlier.
Right.
Or we might get scurvy, or we might we're blocking up our colon, or but fiber. And this is a personal question, Suzi, and if you don't have to answer this, if you don't want to, but can you just share a little bit of information, as much as you're willing to share, about yeah, how you pooping lately, Suzi?
Amazing. I'm working towards the ghost poop. Have you heard of that?
No, please tell us what a ghost poop is. I'm dying to know.
I have goals. It's when you wipe and there's nothing left. I had that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
So
because with the high fat,
yeah.
high fat in the diet, this does seem to be kind of an issue, about just messy mornings,
Yeah.
right? And just having a lot of toilet paper on hand.
I bought a
Not that
bidet.
a bidet would be probably ideal for the carnivore lifestyle, but I get what you mean. And again, that goes back to balancing the amount of fat that you're getting,
Right.
right? Because the perfect poop would be what you're describing, the
Yeah.
ghost poop, right?
Yeah.
Because, but if you're having just a little, that's where you gauge, am I eating too much fat, or not enough fat?
Well, and also when I went to Arizona for a couple of weeks, I did experience the ghost poop, and I was out of the mold. So that's
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. It's all interesting.
Yeah, it really is, and it's a real journey. I'm 7 months in. I'm not 2 years in,
Okay.
but and Suzi, you look fantastic. Like you're shiny and glowy and smiley and happy, and that is, I think, part of this. It's body, mind, spirit. So how, just overall, how do you feel that carnivore has transformed and changed your life?
Oh, for the better. Yeah, I mean, when I was sick in bed, I asked my husband a couple of times if he wanted me to take my life so he didn't have to take care of me anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, of course, he said no. Um, and then when he died, I know I'm still here because of carnivore. In fact, my son said to me right after he died, he said, "Don't quit the diet, Mom," because he knew I'd be back in bed, and
Oh.
I didn't. So yeah,
Wow, that's powerful.
yeah,
To come from that level of despair to thriving. So you were barely surviving,
right.
and you've come to a place of thriving and loving life and skydiving, and
Yeah.
uh, you know,
I have my ups and downs just like everybody else. So yeah, and I'm still searching to how to detox myself without supplements, and that's why I'm trying HPOP. So yeah,
and getting out of mold, getting out of
and
the root cause of what is
fixing the
exposing
house.
you.
Yeah, yeah. My youngest still lives with me, and he's going to be going to college, and this is the best place if I can remediate it well enough. And I'm going to do another ERMI. I'm going to do post tests to see and keep working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and
So
HPOP.
as far as your kids, are they adopting this lifestyle as well, as you being a model for it? I know being a college student and being on carnivore would be super hard. I can't even imagine, but are
Yeah.
they thinking
Well,
about
he's
it even
living
for
at
their
home.
future?
Yeah. And he loves when mommy makes him food. So,
Yeah.
because my husband was the cook and I didn't cook anything. But yeah, he did carnivore for a year and felt amazing. And but then he went back to sugar And recently I told him about HBOT, and I said, you know, my toxic level is a lot higher than yours because I've been on this earth longer than you. I said, you've got your age going for you, and if you did carnivore too and the HBOT, I mean, you would be thriving. It would be amazing. And so he's considering again going back on it. So it's hard with his friends. I mean, yeah, but he's learning how to grill and everything else. So it's good.
Yeah, grilling is fun. It really is. I grilled some steaks last night, some ribeyes, and I'm starting to get much better at it. And this whole lifestyle. Do you feel that you're without?
No. Oh, yeah. No. I look. You know those videos that you see on Instagram of people saying you go into the grocery store and it's all poison. That's what you see, and that's what I do. I look at it, and then I look at everybody's cart, and and that was me. That's exact. I thought the Pop-Tart diet was good enough. So, yeah. So, and you just learn. Everybody's on their own path, and they learn as they go. But I mean, I don't even go into the grocery store anymore. My food is all ordered online to get the best kind. Yeah.
There's really nothing there. They're food-like substances, but they're not really food, are they?
No.
So, Suzi, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, can you share with us? I see, you've written down a website there. Can you share some information about how people can get in touch with you and what you're doing and what your website's all about?
Yeah, Meat Healed Me goes into my story and whatnot. And I'm thinking about, I did some free groups, support groups, and we were meeting a couple of times a week, and then that faded, and I might start it up again. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's about it. And I didn't tell you this before, but I might be starting my own podcast as well.
Yay, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so wonderful. The world needs a lot more of us speaking out and sharing our experience and getting people on board to what is known as the proper human diet.
Right.
So that people can feel as wonderful as you do. That your story is incredible, Suzi. Thanks so much for sharing it. It's a true example of somebody just, being in the depths of despair from all angles and then coming out of it thriving and as a win.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, this was so nice. Thank you, Tali.
Yeah, in spite of all the technical difficulties we had. So, I started upstairs in my little studio upstairs, couldn't get my computer going up there, have some reception issues. Thanks a lot, Xfinity. Well, it all worked out for my phone downstairs in my kitchen. So those of you who joined us today, thanks so much. Reach out to Suzi, see what she's getting into, and keep us informed about the podcast that you're going to be hopefully starting, or any support groups. Can people also reach out to you on Facebook if they have questions after this?
I do have a page, Meat Healed Me, but yeah, they can do it there. Yeah, meathealedme.com though is where they would sign up to do the support group. And if I get enough interest, then I'll start them back up again. Because it's not me leading the group, it's us figuring out together, how to do carnivore optimally for one another,
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
I need to join. I want to join too. I want to be part of it.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Suzi.
All right, thank you, Tali. Have a good
day.
one. It was wonderful.
All right. Take care, everybody who joined us today. Thank you so much.